Okay, now for what is, in many ways, one of the most important sessions of this talk. The final session, we're going to leave the best for last, although it's hard to beat the 15 Homer Simpson slides that were just shown. So I want to call board members of SBMAA up to the stage to join me, please. First, I want to take this opportunity to thank the various people who put this into play. Volunteers and khidmat guzars, Mullah Hussain Bhai Ali Bhai, Mullah Ali Asghar Bhai Kapasi, Fatima bin Kapasi, Husaina bin Electricwala, Zainab bin Jamali, Maria bin Jamali, Sakina bin Punawala. If any of you are here, please come up to get a gift from Hatim. Hard work. I also want to separately thank and acknowledge Jurat Ashraf bin Musa Bhai, who has been invaluable up a lot of what we are doing here, and we thank her and her work very, very much. Please come up and see Hatim Bhai. Jorabin. Please take a moment, if you haven't yet, to check all of the medical scientific posters that we have outside. Tasneem bin Izzuddin, Batul bin Kaj Karbaidwala, Amtullah bin Fatehi, Danyal Bhai Abbas, Murtaza Bhai Khambati. They are really very good posters, and take a moment to acknowledge their hard work. Also, we have art and photography displayed. Tasneem bin Shakir, Mullah Adnan Bhai, Ali Bhai, Hussain Bhai Fatehi, and Alifia bin Al-Qamari. Really tremendous talent that we have in our community. I want to thank the AV team, Ali Asghar Bhai, Yusuf Bhai, Juzur Bhai, and Khum Bhai. Thank you for your great work. And of course, speakers and helpers who helped with the presentation work, and everybody who helped organize, really. I want to thank the staff of the Hilton, and I want to thank the Chicago Medical Society for certifying us for CME. I want to thank Chicago's Amil Saab and Chicago's Jamaat for hosting us again. And I want to thank Amr Bhai Saab for sitting through the conference. Even though he's not a doctor, he showed a tremendous amount of support, and we felt the love and support that he had to show throughout this. With that, I'm going to open this up right now. Let me just take this. No, this is a battery set. Okay, this is a very important part of the conference because in many ways this year we took our theme from Mola's Ashara Bayan, and inshallah we plan to do that in coming years as well. But we want to hear from you, the membership, what we need to be working on for the next year or longer. If you have ideas of how we can improve this conference, if you have ideas about how we can better serve the community, if you have ideas about how we can better serve you, if you have ideas about how we can better do Mola's Khidmat, we want to hear about this, and this is a great opportunity to get those things on the radar. So I'm opening up the floor now. We have a few minutes, and I'll moderate it a little bit tightly. Please excuse me, because I want as many people to speak as possible. But I'd like to open up the floor now to hear about ideas for initiatives, ideas for khidmat, ideas for improvement over the next few years. Hatim Bhai, where's Hatim Bhai? He's going to be taking notes and putting this into the official minutes of this conference. So we really appreciate it. Make sure, please, you also give us your name when you are giving us your feedback. So any comments are welcome. This is like open mic night, so any comments are welcome.
All right, I am Alifia Malbari. I'm a pediatrician. I have two things. The first thing is I am thankful for all of your khidmat, and I'm really happy to see Dr. Al-Qamari on the board. And I wonder how we can get more women on the board. So that's number one. Number two is I think this has been an amazing conference. It's the first time I've attended, and I will come back every year. And I wonder what more we can do for our students, even considering bringing the pre-medical students in, medical students in, and having sessions geared specifically towards them and their application process. So we can think about how do you apply to medical school, how do you apply to residencies. I'm very involved in my medical school, and I'm happy to lead those sessions next year.
Tremendous, tremendous ideas, application help, and bringing in the students. Really appreciate that. Go ahead over here.
Hi, sorry, my voice is gone. My name is Tasneem. I'm a pediatric resident. One of the things that I wanted to mention was something that was touched upon before about pediatric mental health, especially after COVID. And I think that's an initiative we can bring up in our madrasas and something that we can talk about a little bit more.
Pediatric mental health after COVID. We've all seen kids, especially adolescents, decimated by social isolation, which has been really, really tough on them and really, really important. And your name, I'm sorry, Ben?
Tasneem Hashim.
Tasneem and Hashim. Okay, great.
Fakhruddin Attar, Detroit C. I was just commenting on what we talked about, the infodemic of wrong information out there. And somehow if we can have maybe a website, a blog page in which we put articles which are appropriate, and if people, if they have questions, Muminin have questions, we could answer. And I would be honored if I could be part of that.
Great, wonderful. Thank you, Mia Sahib Sheikh Fakhruddin Bhai. We do have a newsletter that comes out and a website, but we have been a little bit remiss on keeping the website in particular up to date, and so we appreciate that input.
Aziz Gardiwan from New Jersey, medical student. Aap shukriya for organizing and setting this all up. A lot of us really appreciate it. So kind of two things on that. I really enjoyed the the workshop on private practice and business entrepreneurship, and it would be really great to have something like that, a group where it could help people transition from their training into becoming real-world practitioners, out after leaving residency and things like that. Additionally, myself and a few other medical students 4 years ago, we started a group that has now grown to about 30 Mumineen across the country that are currently in medical school. The oldest ones of us are now in 4th year, about to apply to residency. And it would be really great if we could somehow incorporate this informal group and turn it into a more of a formal relationship that we have with SBMAA, perhaps being under the umbrella of the group overall.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why SBMAA is created, to create an umbrella and allow the infrastructure for groups like that to flourish. But we've heard twice now about transitions. There's a lot of transitions in healthcare providers' lives from getting to medical school and getting to training, various stages of training and getting out. So that's really, really good feedback that I think we need to take.
So I was going to talk about transition, but on the other side. I've been practicing for more than 23 years, and I'm Nafisa Burhani from Chicago, sorry.
Nafisa Burhani?
Nafisa Burhani, medical oncologist in Chicago. So transitioning from practice into retirement, I think that is a big deal because none of us know that we will be able to do it. And we need to start thinking about it 5 years before we want to do it. And I think there's a lot of wealth these physicians can offer the younger generation. So we should have a forum where people who are more experienced and are thinking of cutting back, or what do we do? Can we give back to the community? So I think we need to think about having a forum of something sort where we can, bridge the gap, if you will.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
My name is Fatima Shub-Chandler. I'm a 4th year medical student from Houston. Thank you all again, Kashukran, for your efforts in hosting this incredible conference. It's my first time attending. In 2020, after completing my 1st year of medical school, I was very excited to attend, and then of course COVID happened. So like Adi Asghar mentioned earlier, a few medical students and myself got together and hosted panels, essentially creating, the conference components that we were most excited about virtually. And so I had the opportunity to host several of the Muminat physicians that we have present here who have served as mentors to me, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to discuss with them things that I was keen on figuring out at that time and still am figuring out. And so again, especially in the Women in Leadership session, I was again inspired and reinvigorated by the words of these mentors, and there was conversation afterward on creating a WhatsApp group of some sort on Muminat healthcare professionals, and that was actually one of the action items for the panel 2 years ago, which I'm at fault for not creating. So now that's another initiative I would like to put forward, and I'm happy to take the lead on, is creating some kind of forum for those of us here and those of us who couldn't attend to discuss, day-to-day matters and issues that come up, and also provide advice and support to one another on advancing within our careers.
Thank you, and thank you for offering to take leadership on that. Somebody got her information. Yes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Burhanuddin Muhammad Ali from San Diego. I have an idea and also have a call to action. I think we should have a session on FMB. And the call to action is that FMB has, again, is become the essence of our culture right now. And through that, over the past so many years, thalis have been are being distributed. Everybody's homes right now. But what I have consistently heard from many people, including my own experience too, that the quality of the food, especially things like oil content and those kind of things, from a health perspective, the health quality of the food, needs a lot of improvement. And I think as SBMAA, it is our job and our call to action to continuously educate our jamaats and our groups and our folks, because what happens is that when the chefs try to make it more healthy, then people don't like it, and they say, oh, it's not as tasty enough, the nihari didn't have enough oil this time, and stuff like that, right? So it is our job to educate our population in our local jamaats at the local level to ensure that the population is kind of keeping up with what the chefs can be educated on. And I think that we need to do something more at an SBMA level to have some kind of sessions about that, on how the local Umur Sehat committee members and stuff, at the ground level can continue to educate the population to improve outcomes. Thank you.
That's wonderful, and that's a kick in the pants for the board, because at our last conference, that was the keynote address, and we actually contacted the person who gave that address to set up something like that, and then when COVID happened and we all became distracted, that fell through the wayside. So we'll take that on us, and we'll definitely enlist your help as we move forward with that.
And I think a full meat barbecue with lamb chops and all that, I think that doesn't quite bode well for SBMA either.
Speak for yourself. That was awesome.
Ben?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, educating the public. Right?
Ben?
So my name is Dr. Lulu Hussain. I'm from Chicago. I was going
I'm
to
sorry,
say,
can you say your name again?
Lulu Hussain.
Thank you.
From Chicago. I was actually going to say exactly the same thing, that we really need to start educating a little more on low-carb diets, less sugar, less processed foods, less bread, less rice. And if we are going to use rice, perhaps brown rice or black rice, something with a lot more husk in it. And the other thing is also exercise, just like the lecture that we heard, but general exercise for everybody in the Jamaat, especially perhaps in Ramzan. After we all go home, take that 10-15 minute walk, and just to be able to understand, how this is going to affect, your ability to fast and just your general health, especially in Ramzan. And then also, I remember the keynote speaker, Dr. Stafawala, gave an absolutely superb talk on South Asian population, heart disease, diabetes. We are all, practically every single one of us is glucose intolerant. Most people don't know. We had all those wonderful initiatives, especially in the Chicago Jamaat, of getting everybody vaccinated against COVID. At the same time, perhaps we also could have done everybody's hemoglobin A1C.
One of the things, thank you for your comments, really appreciate it. One of the things that you mentioned that I'll just piggyback on was that in many Jamaats, and I know New Jersey Jamaat in specific, they do weekly multiple sessions on stretching and exercises for kind of the buzurgo and anyone who wants to join. But I know New Jersey does it because my parents who are in Washington, D.C. also take part in it. And that's been an initiative, and I think they recently did their 100th one. So that's a great idea, and I think on Jamaat levels that can be done by Umur Sehat to promote that kind of physical well-being within the Jamaat.
And I just want to add one thing to that too, is that that's part of our role as an organization, is in your Jamaats, you are probably solving some of these problems locally, and so we want to help, take those best ideas and best practices in each Jamaat and try to scale them, and try to, make sure that all Jamaats benefit from all this innovation. Luluben,
thank you very much for your input and for your suggestions. We have 3 people standing, and I think a 4th one may be coming up. Three people standing. We're going to call it at that for time reasons, so please, go ahead.
मैं रशीदा सेफी छू पीडियाट्रिशियन छू न्यू जर्सी सी तो हमना जे अलिफा बेने हेल्थ एंड सेफ्टी प्रोग्राम ની વાત કરી જે મદ્રાસામાં થઈ રહ્યું હતું તો એનાથી interaction કીધું ઘણા પેરેન્ટ્સ સાથે and they are really looking forward કે अपने as doctors મદ્રાસામાં भी આ ચીજ continue રાખીએ જેમ સ્કૂલમાં health sessions થાય છે the nurse does it. For example, puberty no thai che, bullying no thai che, depression thai che. These were the 3 main things that parents came up with during these health and safety program जो sessions की data. So they were looking forward कि अपने पहला अपना मा भी तो करिए इतने school मा for example 5th grade मा health sessions thai che to let them know about these things. So if at all अपने madrasa मा as doctors maybe quarterly or 6 monthly doctors ये sessions रखिए तो एक तो ये लोगों ने अपना डॉक्टर्स से खबर पड़े छे कि શું આ ચીજો છે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ પ્યુબર્ટીના બારામાં એન્ડ બુલિંગ એન્ડ ડિપ્રેશન આઈ ગેસ કે એ તો ઓનગોઈંગ છે જ તો આઈ થિંક વી કેન કન્ટ્રીબ્યુટ મોર ટુવર્ડ્સ બેટર હેલ્થ ઓફ કિડ્સ ફ્રોમ ધેટ એજ ઇટસેલ્ફ.
Thank you very much. That's a couple of 2 or 3 times now that we've heard on greater focus on the youth of our community and our generation, something we need to take to heart. Yes, Brian.
Hi, this is Murtaza Khambari. I'm from Chicago. And I just want to thank you so much for all the events and the presentation. It was really great. Honor to be here. I just want to echo on, and it'll be like a feedback on what Alias Garbaisi and other people said as well, that we should like bring out more opportunities for the youth and like the pre-med and the med students. So in Chicago, we recently started off with the higher education and career counseling. So it's like a chain where we started with the pre-med students, and those who have been like in med school, they're gonna guidance the pre-med, and those who have been in residency, gonna guidance and counsel for the medical students. So we already have Raza from our Jamaat and Bhai Saab to start off with this project. So if SBMAA can also participate, and if anyone wants to join that counseling session, counseling group, we're definitely most interested in that.
Great, and that echoes what Sheikh Aziz Bhai, the point made before, is one of the missions of SBMAA is to take these local best practices that people are organically developing and scale them to give faido to more mu'mineen. So we appreciate you very much bringing that up. Yes, Ben.
Hi, I'm Nafisa Gadiali from Chicago. I'm an OB/GYN and a psychiatrist practicing currently women's mental health. And I want to first of all thank you SBMAA, and I'm really proud to be a member of this organization, that you people have done an excellent job at spreading the health, awareness, treatment, everything. What I want to say is I think it is time we pay equal importance to mental health too, because it's beyond our imagination, the prevalence and what is going on in our community in terms of how many are suffering in silence. And plus, not just the mental health, but the substance abuse that we see in our adolescents and even the adults, which has gone kind of hidden, and we need to do something. And my earnest request to SBMAA to use this platform to come up maybe with a task force where we can do awareness, prevention, and treatment. I think this needs a very coordinated effort. Some of the communities, some of the Jamaats are doing it ad hoc, but I think we all need to come together. Maybe we come up with a task force committee, come up with guidelines, and then pass it on to all the Umur Sehat in all Jamaats and do a coordinated effort to save our youth and to help those who are suffering in silence.
Just to clarify, are you referring now to mental health or to substance abuse or use
Both.
or both?
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think that's really good. And what we're seeing here is a couple of themes emerge. If I had to break it up, and everybody's comments are written down and will be reviewed carefully, and you'll be contacted about them, inshallah. What we're seeing is transitions is one thing, both into various stages of training and retirement. We're seeing a lot of focus or concern about health, wellness, and diet, and we're seeing scalability of local programs that we need to do that you're referring to, and we're seeing concerns about our youth and mental health and substance abuse. If I had to sum it up, I'd kind of put it in those 4 buckets. I want to thank everybody once again. In particular, I want to thank our working groups. We have working groups that are working on various ones of these issues, and if you're interested in joining a working group, please let us know. I also want to thank Umur Sehat coordinators for all the work they do in our Jamaat and for liaising with us.
अपने ડૉક્ટર આમિરભાઈ સાથે મારી એક વર્ષોની પર્સનલ ખાસ દોસ્તી છે, પણ એના સાથે મારો એક ડિલેમા બી છે કે મારા ખાસ દોસ્ત બી છે, મારા કાર્ડિયોલોજિસ્ટ બી છે, મારા ડૉક્ટર બી છે, અને એના સાથે ડિસ્કશન અને મેક્સિમમ સ્ટ્રેસ બી આવે છે. હમણાં બી જ્યારે ડૉક્ટરીએ કહ્યું કે અહીંયા SBMAમાં લોસ એન્જલિસના અમે મિલેલા અને ડૉક્ટરે કીધું કે સાહેબ આ પ્રોગ્રામ છે, આપ જરૂર આવજો એના અંદરથી. તો પહેલાં મારો ઇનિશિયલ થોટ હતો કે હા SBMAનું છે, ઘણું અચ્છું છે, આપણે સપોર્ટ કરીએ, પણ મેં કોન્ફરન્સમાં જઈને કરીશું. મેં કહ્યું કે આ ડૉક્ટર્સો સગલા વાત કરશે, ટેકનિકલ ટર્મ્સમાં વાત કરશે, કંઈ સમજ નહીં પડે, પણ આપણે જઈને કરશું શું. પછી એના અંદર આપણે મેં કહ્યું ના કંઈ નહીં, જઈએ આપણે એના અંદર કંઈ થોડુંક કે જાણવાનું શીખવાનું મિલશે એના અંદરથી. પછી यहाँ આવ્યો તો પહેલું ચીજ આમિરભાઈ કે રાતે મિલા તો મને કહે સાહેબ કીનોટ સ્પીક શરૂમાં મેં બોલવાનો છું. મેં કહ્યું આ પાછું હાર્ટ બીટ હાઈ થઈ ગયો. ડૉક્ટર આમિરભાઈના હાથમાં અમારા જમાતમાં શું અમારે એમ છે કે ડૉક્ટર આમિરભાઈના હાથમાં માઇક આવે પછી આમ એટલે હાર્ટ બીટ બી વધી જાય છે, સ્ટ્રેસ લેવલ વધી જાય છે, ટેન્શન બી વધી જાય છે, ખબર નહીં શું થશે હવે. પણ મેં એમ કહું કે ઘણી અચ્છી ઘણી ખૂબી અને એક્સેલન્ટ સ્પીચ આપી શરૂમાં. અને એના સાથે મેં એમ કહું છું કે સગલા જ આપણે પહેલાં તો SBAમાં આપ લોકો સગલા જે એના બોર્ડના ઉપર છો, સગલા જે સ્પીકર્સો જે સગલા બોલા એના અંદર સગલા પ્રેઝન્ટેશન્સ હતા એક્સ્ટ્રીમલી ઇન્ફોર્મેટિવ હતા. અને મેં એમ કહું છું ને મેં તો નોટ એઝ અ ફિઝિશિયન બટ બિંગ અ નોન ફિઝિશિયન મેં એમ કહું છું કે જે સગલા ઇશ્યુઝોના બારામાં આપ લોકો સગલાએ જે વાત કીધી ઘણા ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ઇશ્યુઝો છે, ઘણા આપણા કમ્યુનિટીના અંદર ઘણા કી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ઇશ્યુઝો છે. અને આજે આપણા ડૉક્ટર્સો પાસે એક ઘણી મોટી ચીજ છે કે આપ લોકો સગલાને એક પહેલું ચીજ મુબારક ભરે આપું છું કે મૌલાનાની આકા મૌલા આપણા સૈયદના અલી કદર મુફદ્દલ સૈફુદ્દીન આકા પહેલાં તો આપણે દુઆ કરીએ છીએ, આપણે હર સાસથી દુઆ કરીએ છીએ કે આપણા મૌલા આપણા બાબા શફીકની ઉમર શરીફને તારોજ क़यामत લગ દરાજ અને દરાજ કરજો. અને એ દુઆના સાથે એમ બી દુઆ કરીએ કે वो दिन ઘણો અને ઘણો જલ્દી નસીબ થાય કે મૌલા અહીંયા નોર્થ અમેરિકા પધારે. અને જે એમ બી દુઆ કરીએ સાથે કે આ વર્ષ એમ આપણી જે સગલાની ઉમ્મીદ છે કે અશારા મુબારક અહીંયા નોર્થ અમેરિકામાં થાય એ બી આપણે નસીબ થાય. એના સાથે મેં એમ કહું છું કે આજે ડૉક્ટર્સોને આપ લોકો સગલા તરફ અહીંયા એક ઘણો જે મૌલાનાની ખાસ નજરાત છે એની બરકતથી આજે આપણા મુમિનીનના અંદર બી ડૉક્ટર્સો વાસ્તે એક ઘણો મોટો એક કમ્ફર્ટ ઝોન છે. અને ડૉક્ટરો તરફથી કઈ ચીજ આવે છે તો સગલા જ સુને છે. બીજા કોઈ કહે તો આમ શું છે કે ભાઈ વારું કરશું આમ છું, પણ ડૉક્ટર્સો તરફથી આવે છે તો એનું ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ એનો મેગ્નિટ્યૂડ ઘણો બહેતર અને ઘણો ઝ્યાદા આવે છે. અને એ ચીજનું આપ લોકોને મેં રિક્વેસ્ટ કરું છું કે આ સગલા જેટલી બી પોઈન્ટ્સ વાત કરી, આપણે જે હિસ્ટ્રીની વાત કરી, કુરાનની વાત કરી, પેરેન્ટિંગની વાત કરી, બિઝનેસની વેપારની વાત કરી, સગલી અને બીજા ઘણા પોઈન્ટ્સો સગલા આપણે તો પાછું આમિરભાઈ મારા સામે જોઈ રહ્યા કે ટાઈમ વધી ગયો છે, પણ આપણે શું છે કે આ સગલી ચીજો આ બધા પોઈન્ટ્સો આપ લોકો એને જે મિસાલ પુશ કરી રહ્યા છો જરૂર એને પુશ કરીએ. અને એના સાથે એક મેં એમ કહું કે સગલા પોઈન્ટ ઘણા ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે, પણ મેં કહું કે એક ચીજ જે મને હમણાં મેં એમ કહું કે જો એક ટાર્ગેટ આપણે સેટ કરીએ આ વર્ષ વાસ્તે કે જે આપણા ફરજંદો છે, યંગસ્ટર્સો જે છે આપણા ખાસ સટન જે આ 17 વર્ષથી 24 વર્ષના જે છે જે આપણે મદ્રાસામાંથી નીકળી જાય છે અને કોલેજ જવાનું શરૂ કરે છે એ દરમિયાનના અંદર આપણા પાસે ઇશ્યુઝો ઘણા છે. આપણે સગલા ડિસ્કશન બી થયું, यहाँ मीटिंगમાં બી થયું, ડૉક્ટરો સાથે બી વાત થઈ છે. એ ચીજોથી મને એમ છે કે આ એક ચીજના પર આપ લોકો એઝ ફિઝિશિયન્સ એક ફોકસ લઈએ કે કેવી રીતથી આપણે એ લોકો સાથે ઇન્ટરેક્ટ કરીએ, કેવી રીતથી આપણે એના પર વર્ક કરીએ જે યાના અને સોસાયટીના મેં એમને કીધું યાના સોસાયટીના ઇશ્યુઝો છે. મેં મેં એમ ઘણી વાર કહું છું કે મે બી એકદમ પ્રાઉડ અમેરિકન છું, મે બી ત્યાં જ જણાયો છું, ત્યાં જ મોટો થયો છું, અને મને કોઈ કહે ને કે આ વેસ્ટર્ન ઇસ્યુ છે, મને એમ ઘણો ગુસ્સો આવે છે કે વેસ્ટર્ન ઇસ્યુ કંઈ નથી, આ તો દુનિયાનો ઇસ્યુ છે. પણ આજે મેં એમ કહું છું કે આજે જે દુનિયાના ચેલેન્જીસ છે એના વાસ્તે શું છે કે આપ લોકો બેવે ફ્રોમ આપનું જે પોઝિશન છે એઝ અ ફિઝિશિયન અને જે એના અંદર બેવે अपने मेडिकली भी सोशली भी आ सगली चीज़ों पर केवी रीते अपने वर्क करिए ने केवी रीते अपने आ लोगों टार्गेट करीने अपने जे लोगों मुश्किलों है એને કેવી રીતે આપણે હલ કરીએ એના પર ખાસ આપ લોકો ફોકસ કરજો જરૂર. પહેલાં ખાલી સગલા બોર્ડ અને સગલા જે ફિઝિશિયન્સ સગલા આજે હાજર થયા છે સગલાનો મેં બી શુક્રિયા કહું છું કે મને બી આજે શીખવાનું ઘણું મળ્યું, જાણવાનું બી મળ્યું. પહેલું ચીજ તો મેં એક જુઝાભાઈ બી મારે ખાસ દોસ્ત છે, અમે રોજ વાત કરીએ છીએ કે જીમમાં જવું છે, જીમમાં જવું છે. આજના ટોક પછી તમે પહેલાં લઈ જઈને પહેલું ચીજ જીમમાં જઈશું ઇન્શાલ્લાહ. છેલ્લા આખિરમાં બસ દુઆ કરીએ છીએ કે આપણા મૌલા આપણા બાવા શફીક આકા મૌલા સૈયદના અલી કદર મુફદ્દલ સૈફુદ્દીન આકાની ઉમર શરીફને રોઝે क़यामत લગ દરાજ અને દરાજ કરજો. અને આપણે સાસની અને જિંદગીની વાત કરીએ છીએ તો આના અંદર આપણે એમ દુઆ કરીએ છીએ કે આપણી આખિર સાસ તક મૌલાની ખિદમત કરતા રહીએ, મૌલા પર ફિદા થતા રહીએ અને મૌલાની ખુશી હાસિલ કરતા રહીએ.
Ameen, Ameen. And Sahab, once again, we thank you for your support and guidance and leadership, and being here and present means the world to us. A couple of last housekeeping announcements, and I'll turn over to our Vice President, Dr. Shabir Bhai Sahab. Number one, to obtain CME credit, you must fill out the pre and post evaluations. Please do so. Number two, each and every talk, we have had some amazing talks, and we understand that some of them were concurrent, so everybody missed some. Each and every talk will be available on our website, sbmedical.org, within the next day or so, so please take advantage of those. Number three, most important, there's lunch outside. So after you leave here, please make sure to grab lunch. And it will be in a to-go bag for you. And we have yoga mats to help with keeping people healthy and stretched in the economy zone. We have yoga mats for you to take as parting gifts as well. With that, I'll turn over to our Vice President, Dr. Shabir Bhai Sahab Shakir.
Thank you, Dr. Amir Bhai. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mola Ali Qadar Mola Sayyidna Ali Qadar Mufaddal Saifuddin Molani Umar Sharif ne दराज करजो. अपने यहाँ जमा थया सगला आया, घनी खुशी थी कि सगला पोतानो टाइम निकालीने यहाँ जमा थया अने कया मौके पर जमा थया कि सैयदना अब्देली सैफुद्दीन मोइज़ असगर इल्मना मंबा एना उरुसा मौके पर सगला आपने जमा थया अने ए मौके पर अपने भी यहाँ थोड़ू इल्म पढ़ा, जितनु पढ़ी सके एटलू पढ़ा. हवे આજે આપણે અહીંયાથી જઈએ છીએ તો શું સાથે લઈને જઈએ એ નિયત કરીએ કે આપણે તબીબ છે, ડૉક્ટર છે, મૌલા બુરહાનુદ્દીનને આપણે સુના છે, સગલાએ સુના છે કે મૌલા ફરમાવે છે કે તમે ડૉક્ટર છો, તમારી વાત લોકો સુને છે. तो ये नियत करने जाइए कि हमें हमारा गांव में जाइए छे तो हमें हमारा मोहिब भाइयों बहनों सगला ने आ सुनावशू कि आ साल सैयदना अली कदर मुफद्दल सैफुद्दीन नी खुशी अने मंशा छे कि हर मोमिन पोतानी दुकानों बिजनेसों बंद करीने अशरामा बराबर 9 दिन शामिल थाय. तो ये नियत करनी जाइए અને એઝ અ ડૉક્ટર લોકો તમારી વાત સુનશે, તમે બી નિયત કરશો અને બીજાને બી સાથે લઈને આવશો. મસ્જિદમાં અશરાની વાઝમાં આકા હુસૈનનો માતમ કરશો, આકા હુસૈનના ઉપર આંસુ બહાવશો અને 8 જન્નત કમાવશો. એ તો છે જ. હવે એ બીજું આપણે શું ફાયદો છે કે વી એઝ અ ફિઝિશિયન હેવ અ લોટ ઓફ ફ્લેક્સિબિલિટી. we can easily stop our businesses and our practices and get coverage. So there is no problem in getting the time off. બરાબર છે સગલા? એવરીબડી અગ્રીઝ વિથ મી ઓર નોટ? તો આ નિયતથી આપણે અહીંયાથી જઈએ આપણા ગામમાં અને કોશિશ કરીએ કે આશરા મુબારકા 1443ના અંડર આપણે સગલા મસ્જિદોમાં મજલિસોમાં અશરાની વાઝમાં મૌલાના સાથે ઇમ્કાન થાય તો મૌલાના સાથે અશરા કરીએ એમ આપણે નિયત કરીએ. ખુદા આકા મૌલા અલી કદર મૌલાની ઉમ્ર શરીફને દરાજ અને દરાજ કરજો અને આ ફાતિમી દાઈ હુસૈનના દાઈના કદમોમાં બેસીને આપણે અશરા સુનવું નસીબ થાય એમ આપણે દુઆ કરીએ છીએ. વાલા ખુદા નબી फुना तस्बीह अस्माइकुम आया बनिल मुस्तफ़ा दा बनवन मल वज़ाइफु बिताईदिकुम नस्ती दरसउलूमिकुम व तक़वा अला तक़वा को आना ज़ाइफु व तौविल इलाही उम्र सैफिन लदीन कलज़ी आज़मिन गुर्रे शुऊन अफ़ानीना फ़अबक़ाहु रब्बुल अर्श फ़ी कुल नेमतिन व आदाउहु बिन्नार जबहातुहुम तुक़वा व सल्ला अला ताहा व इतरतिहिल उला हुमु नेमतुल उज़्मा हुमुल गायतुल क़ुस्वा.